Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Furman Athletics. I am Dan Scott, the voice of the Paladins. Good to have you along with us as always. And, well, we are doing I say this all the time, we're doing exactly what the show title says. We're taking you inside one of the programs here at Furman. And this week, we get the opportunity to spend some time with volleyball coach Michelle Young, who is the school and Southern Conference all-time wins leader in the sport of volleyball. How are you?
I'm great. Doing well.
In certain seasons, is it comforting to hear that you've had a lot of success in the past?
I guess when you're trying to, maintain some confidence for sure. But no, I think some of that's just solved by longevity, I think,
It beats the alternative.
Yes, it does, for sure.
So how have you been? It's been a while since we had a chance to catch up.
Yeah, doing well. Everybody's good. The family's good. The players are working hard. We got a great staff, great support group. So, things are going well. We just got to bust into that win column. We just, if we were throwing grenades, we'd be doing great because we're coming close a lot.
Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit because I know this is something of a unique challenge for you and this program. You've got 19 players on your roster, 11 which are returning letter winners, but you've got 8 newcomers, 5 freshmen, 3 transfers. So just tell us about trying to put those puzzle pieces together.
Yeah. We only graduated 1 senior, bringing 8 new ones in. That's not usually the, give and take all the time.
Right.
But we are really happy with the kids that we had interested and the athletes that we were able to. We knew we needed to bring in a big class because we wanted to just create some more competition in the gym, all those things. And so for us, the focus really was we're going to work really hard with recruiting. We were going to really work hard in the off season with the kids that we had, investing in those because with those kids, that was really going to be their first real off season for all these athletes. And we really knew we had to put the time in the gym. We had players staying for summer, and then us balancing that with working hard on the road, bringing in as many kids that we felt good about that could help us. And again, we felt really good about that. Our players really invested in themselves in the off season, and then we were able to get that big class, a good mix of freshmen and transfers. And I know. For us, we're happy with the group that we have. We feel like they're working really hard. I think it's just, when you're trying to mesh all that, sometimes it can take a little longer than you want it to. Maybe you take some steps forward and then there's a couple injuries and you lose some momentum and you're going back. And so there's just a lot of moving parts that we're continuing to work to put them all together.
You said something at the beginning of that holds true regardless of the sport. We usually hear it couched in football and basketball terms, but it's true regardless of the sport, and that is the more competition that you have in practice, the better ultimately the program is going to be.
Yeah, and that was just the goal is let's just get more, not just bodies. I mean, you want to have as much, you have to have quality, but just trying to have more people out there competing for jobs because we had, whether it was injuries or usually that's what hurts if you don't have any depth and then a couple people get injured. Now you can't even have a proper scrimmage in practice or whatever. And so I feel like we're able to do that this year. And now the next step is getting that top group to really rise above, raising the top, just not raising the whole average. Like we need some players to really step up and be the guy. And I think that is probably the next step this team needs to take. It's, we don't want 19 of the same. We don't want 15 of the same. We need to have some tiers in there so that we can count on some people.
How much of an advantage for you is it to have a couple of coaches on your staff who played for you, played in your system, and know what it's like to be successful here, and talking about Natalie Anthony and Kelly Picardi?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. I guess that must not be I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of alumni out there coaching, but maybe they're head coaches at their school and not just, the assistant staff. For us, I think for me specifically, it is the amount of trust that I have in them is tremendous. I don't have to worry about anything. I mean, I don't just, there is so much trust in them They were so talented as players. They're probably they're the most competitive people I'm around all the time. I mean, they're crazy competitors. And so
Even now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it. They're so competitive. And so I think even having that for our athletes, like for me, it's a trust thing for sure. Like they are so invested in what we're doing. It's not about them. It's about the athletes, which I think is a huge thing and is hard to come by these days of self-promotion. I think for them, the number one focus is these girls. And I think they're so invested in what they're trying to do for them. And I think they've been there. I think that's huge for athletes to see. Like, I think our girls could even utilize them more than they do. I think they're figuring that out. But just having people that have been there, because a lot of athletes, they can relate, and they can even relate to the level of I've been in the same classes as you. I've played for the same coach. I can help you through this, coach you through it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's a great tool for players. I'd love to see them utilize it even more.
I don't know if kids today still use this phrase, but the phrase that used to be popular is street cred.
Yeah.
These two have a lot of street cred because they can, if all else fails, they can point to the wall and say, see those wins, see that championship banner, see that NCAA banner.
Yeah.
I know what it takes to get there.
Yeah, and they can show that, it can be done. You can be a successful student athlete here. You can have a life. You can really reap the benefits of being here at Furman, and for sure, lots of credit to those guys.
When you're a freshman at Furman, though, and it's funny because I've talked to a significant number of freshman athletes over my now 12 years here, and I always ask them. I said, I know you heard what Furman academics are going to be like before you got here. How was it when you actually got here? And they all say, what I heard doesn't even come close to what it's actually like. So they have to learn that aspect of it. And again, you've got two people here who've been through it. It can say there is light at the end of the proverbial tunnel. Yeah,
and I think, too, it's, the academics take the big hit for them in their mind, but I think it's the combination. I think it's because our players are great students.
Right.
I mean, they're exceptional students. So I think class is part of that, just like it is anywhere. But I think it's also throwing in the weight room, the athletics, the expectation that maybe you thought you were just going to roll into that as well. I think it's just the combination of all of it compounds.
Time management and competition, right?
Yes, for sure. And so, going from being the guy and it being pretty easy to be the guy to, oh, wait, I'm on a team full of those people. And how do I now rise above that and respond to the expectation?
Visiting with Michelle Young, the head coach of the Furman volleyball program, which, by the way, will be hosting the Southern Conference Volleyball Championships at Timmons on the 18th through the 20th of November. What kind of commitment is that for you and for this program?
Well, I think for us, we're excited that the girls can sleep in their own bed and those kind of things. But with it being in Timmons, it's still a neutral site for us. But we'll probably, we're gonna be able to get in there and practice, so that hopefully we can utilize that. But for us, it's more. I'm sure the support staff is like, oh my gosh, come on, guy, now. But the SoCon comes in, we assist them. But it's great because we've been kind of promoting it all fall, trying to get our fans involved in the tournament experience. Bringing it to them and, doing the best that we can to promote it so that even for the conference, we're having a good environment and creating a good championship for the athletes. But yeah, there's a lot of people working behind the scenes to make that happen, and we really appreciate their hard work. But yeah, always bringing a championship to campus is always a great experience for your athletes.
Yeah, and you say it's a neutral site, and people are asking, how's that possible if it's on Furman's campus, but you play your home matches in Alley Gym.
Yes.
Which you have turned into a pretty cool home gym advantage.
Right. And we've had some great crowds these past, just coming out of, where it was still the COVID stuff and you can't come. And and we have limited seating and those kind of and dealing with some of the challenges that comes with that. But our staff has worked really hard to promote and get some people in there, and I think the environment has been we're kind of back to the good old days of having it nice and loud in there, and really trying to create an environment that can even just help our athletes be successful. But they need to utilize that because it's lots of fun in there.
That period of time when you weren't able to do that, looking back on it now, is there anything in you where you can say, hey, I was kind of taking that for granted a little bit because you'd built such success and you had an expectation of a lot of fans in there and it being a great atmosphere, and then it wasn't. And now that it's back, is there and maybe even taken for granted is not the right phrase, but a renewed enthusiasm maybe?
Yeah, I think it just reminds you of, oh man, before we played in empty, like it was just so weird playing in empty gyms. And I think for just that, but everyone was doing it. So I think it was just more the oddity of, oh my gosh, there's really like us and a couple parents at every venue was kind of odd. But I think it is just like getting back to everything that you took for granted, that you weren't able to do. I think you're just happy it's back. And so everybody's happy about it. I don't know if it would turn into necessarily an advantage because I think everyone's so happy that a lot of these things have come back.
This weekend, you have a pair of home matches, and it's you're in a 4-match homestand, and 7 of your 8 October matches are in Alley, so people have plenty of opportunity to come and see. And we're a couple of days late. Normally we do this on Tuesday. We're recording it on Thursday for some reasons I'll leave alone. But this weekend, Western Carolina and UNC Greensboro coming in, and it is Alumni Weekends. So we talked about, you got 2 of them on staff, but they're going to be, I imagine a few more who'll be here, right?
It's going to be a great weekend. I've heard from a bunch of them. I've actually met up with a few even beforehand. We have a really big crew of alumni coming, and their spouses, and there's going to, their kids and all that. So we have a lot of great stuff planned. They're going to get honored at the football game. And so it's just going to be great to hear all the stories and all of their perspective on back when they played, But we have a great group coming, so it should be a fun weekend.
Do you find that what's true in, again, the sports that I'm more closely associated with, football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is, but do you find that it's the same in volleyball, that the older you get, the better you were?
Oh, my gosh, yes. The older you get, the better you were, and the harder it was. And back in my day,
that's right. Yes.
They do have a leg to stand on, it where you used to be able to push kids a little bit harder. But that's all right, because I think that each group has to deal with other stresses. You might have had it hard, but you didn't have to deal with some of this other stuff. And so, it's always good to hear that. I love it, and I'm sure my teammates and I do the same thing when we get together.
Floor slanted uphill both ways,
for sure.
and the net was ball weighed 16 pounds and all that kind of.
Yep.
And we still won championships.
That's right.
I love it. How is the conference this year?
Good. I mean, I think there's just a lot of parity. It's kind of anybody's game. Just like last year, we upset the number 1 seed, the number 7 seed won the tournament. Like, I think it's kind of the same situation this year, where even it kind of could be anybody on any night, for real. And I think that everybody knows that. So everybody's just really working hard to keep their ducks in a row, keep it together, and then also realize, even though you do it in the regular season, you're going to have to really collect yourself and be ready for anybody at the tournament. There's really not that one team that is just above and beyond and is untouchable. It is just kind of a big clump of people trying to put it together on any given night.
And I know it's certainly not the position that you want to be in, but you do have the experience of last season that you can fall on. Mm-hmm. Say, hey, we had a rough regular season and then made the run all the way to the championship game in the tournament.
Right. Well, we came up one short, but we had such a good tournament, and we really were so close, and then just it got away from us at the end. But I think that, it's that balance of, you want to build on that, but you also don't want to be the team that's okay with,
right,
saving it all for 3 days in November. Mm-hmm. You want to have some success. It's just that's a lot of pressure. Just be, okay, we're going to have a great 3 days. Well, we want to build some momentum, and that's kind of trying to, this second half of conference now, how do we create some momentum? How are we getting rising in the rankings and going in the right direction. Because even if you're having a great first round of conference and you're sitting at the top, if your trajectory is downward, that's not a great feeling going into the tournament. Even
Right.
maybe you're in the top 4, that's not always a great feeling either. So really just trying to, get some momentum even going into late October, November gives you a much better feeling.
Mentioned you're the all-time SoCon leader. Obviously, that means you're the all-time school leader in wins as well, 382 as we sit here now. Coaches, though, as I have come to find out, are like athletes, and they're always looking for challenges. And obviously, this is a challenge for
sure.
you. What have you learned during the last season and a half, and how has that challenged you?
I mean, it's more than I want it to challenge me, honestly. After all these years,
you like those banners and everything else, right?
But I think that the good news is I think this is a good group that can do it. It's just taken us a little bit longer to find some. I mean, I keep saying the word consistency, but we just can't have revolving doors in our lineup, and we were trying to close some of those doors. And so hopefully we can continue to. I think we're starting to do that, which is great. I think the girls are still invested, but, it's just like anything in life. Once you think you have the hang of it, something's going to come along and show you don't. And so I think, I'm not someone who really ever thought I had the hang of it, but we were really enjoying doing what we were doing. And now it is just a new challenge.
Well, you had a formula that was working.
Yeah. And so when the formula changes, you have to change with it. And that's what we're trying to do. And I do feel good about this group. I know they can do it. We're healthy. They're working hard every day. And so I just think with that combination, there is always a chance for you to get it together and find some momentum. And that's what we're trying to do right now.
Give us some names. You're talking.
There's so many.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So many of them.
Yeah,
but
you don't have to name everybody.
Right. But I think some people that are, getting it done for us right now, some new faces too, like Mary Beth Headley is an outside hitter. That's a transfer that's starting to, gain some momentum. A freshman in Grania McGrath who plays middle for us. She's a young competitor that just is doing some really good things. Another new one, a freshman is Lauren Haynes has played on the outside for us, has done some good things right out of the gate. And then as far as returners, we've got our 2 setters back in Ella Abraham and Sarah Turner. Andrea Esveda has come in and she's returned as our libero and they're all doing some good things. And then also some other, returners. Ava Augustin has done a great job at the pin for us. And, again, trying to find some consistency. But again, even though she's a returner, it's a new role for her as far as being the guy. And so battling through that. And then on the right side, we've got some returners, and Sydney Tanner and Chandler Parker have done some good things. And then Morgan Cobb coming off an injury, trying to get her bearings and all of that, has done some, is battling for playing time as well. And then Kelsey Watkins is a returner in the middle who is battling in there. And then Genevieve Perry is another transfer in the middle. So we have some depth. We have multiple people at these positions, which is great.
Right.
But like we said, we don't want to have revolving doors. We want to, let's find the guy, and then the other 2 can battle for this. But it's nice in practice having that depth, trying to raise the level. So there's lots of players that are contributing for us. We just want to continue to, find some people that can do it night after night after night, which is going to be important.
Have you found this particular challenge has energized you?
Some days, yes, and some days it beats me right into the ground.
It's like raising your own children, right?
And so I think that is nice when you talk about your staff who's been there and done that, and you've worked together. It's just so nice to know you can pull together as a group, and there is no one in there who's like, well, if I was in charge, this wouldn't be, that kind of thing. So, and I don't have a bunch of yes men either, yes women either. We can argue a little bit, but also lean on each other and work together. And they're such hard workers. Their answer is always, we just have to work hard. We got to do more. It's never, well, let's hope we get it done.
Right.
And so that's always fun too, to be in the trenches with people that you trust and know are up to the challenge.
Yeah, I'm maybe getting in your kitchen here a little bit. And I don't mean to, but you opened the door, so I'm going to walk through. Is it tough for you we were talking about Natalie and Kelly,
Yeah.
who played for you. Is it tough for you to have them not agree with you all the time?
No, yeah, I mean, everybody wants to be right
Yeah.
all the time, but no, I think it is. Or if they do agree too much, I'm like, then we're arguing about stop agreeing with, like what would you do, So it is really it is a good dynamic for us, and we laugh a lot, which is great. That's a great cure for a lot of things. But it's just they're so invested in the program, and that just it does. You can always lean on that, for sure. Is just when it seems like you're so at a loss for something.
Right.
You can when you have to, wake back up in the morning, get going, and figure it out. Like you do have people in there that are committed to it. They're no quitters, by God, and so that's great.
I think any really good or great leader wants people who are going to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
And give them varying opinions, and then it's your job to weigh through all that and make the ultimate decision. But if you have people who are just telling you what you want to hear all the time, that's not a formula for success for the group. Might be for the person, but it's not for the group.
That's not a good long-term solution, I guess. And so I think too, even some of our players probably think, oh, well, they would never, they're just doing everything she said. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, we're trying to figure stuff out too. And they have a voice, and even our players, we want, when we're like, if we ask you, we want to know what you're thinking, don't tell us what you think we want to hear. We can't make any progress that way as well as, and that's something as a young athlete, you got to figure out that balance as well.
So Kelly, Natalie, doors open. Feel free to argue.
Oh, they know. Yeah.
All right. So as we get into wrap up mode here, let's come back to what's going to happen this weekend. Again, we're doing this on Thursday, so it's going to be released late Thursday morning, early Thursday afternoon. So hopefully that'll give folks a chance to figure out what's going on. But what's the weekend schedule look like?
So this weekend, Alumni Weekend, we're playing Friday night at 6, Saturday night at 6. And so, 2 conference matches, Western and Greensboro. And, we need to make some moves this weekend. We'd love to have everybody out. Come on out to Alley Gym. It should be a good time. But, again, just looking to really make a move here.
Tickets at FurmanPaladins.com.
Yep.
And all that good stuff. And I'm sure there will be a lot of events and things going on with the alumni.
Oh, yeah.
How many of them are coming back?
God, I think, I think the number, but that's family members, spouses, all that is like, I think we have like 40 people coming.
Oh, nice.
Or 30 to 40 people, but lots of variety of, classes and that kind of thing, which always makes it interesting. But yeah, I think there's a lot of folks coming that have a championship under the belt. So then I think something we're really excited that we added this year is Saturday morning we're doing a brunch with our team, and we're going to do a little bit of some, a panel discussion on what our alumni are doing, getting them some table talk with our alums so they can talk about, hey, if we've got people that have all these different careers that are doing great, how can they mentor some of our athletes and talk about, swap stories of Furman and also learn some things, make some connections. So we're really excited about adding this year because we have so many great women out in the workforce or out there running around. We want them to connect with our current athletes.
When athletics are done right, and I know that you're one who believes in doing things the right way, one of the great rewards for a coach has to be when you have people who have come through your program and gone on and are living their lives now who still feel like they're a part of the program and are still invested in your program.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's always great. And we know people are busy and you start a family or you're, like you only have so many, whatever, life happens. Mm-hmm. It is hard to cut out that time. And so that's why we really want to invest in them and make sure we want to create a really nice environment for them to come back to. We have some that come back all the time. We have some that stay connected in other ways or can come here and there. There's definitely some folks coming this weekend I haven't gotten to see face-to-face in a long time, so I'm really excited to connect with them. And we even have some parents that come back because they love their days of getting to cheer the team on, and they have great memories as well. And so that's always exciting. And I just think it's just a great way. Even it's refreshing as a coach to hear what those people are doing now and how much, and seeing them connect and tell stories. It's just so much energy going on. And that's something that I think it will be great for our current athletes to see.
So that is this weekend, Western Carolina on Friday night at 6 and UNCG on Saturday night at 6. Alley Gym, Alumni Weekend. Tickets are available. Love to have as many people here as we can for this match and start getting things rolling, right?
Amen.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too.
I can't get out of it without asking how's Will doing? How's the competition in the young house? We're
doing all right. We're starting to come out of it here a little bit, but it's just, and now our kids are older, so there's less distraction. We only have one. Bella's the lone child now in 8th grade, and so she has a lot going on. She just swam in the state swim meet, which neither of us could attend, which was a bummer. But it's always something. But, yeah, there's less distraction. So there's a little more focus on results, which is not healthy.
Yeah. And I was going to say, you're also getting to that point with only one in the house now. Even with your jobs, you're going to be spending more time with each other by default.
Yeah, and I also find myself, I'm stewing at the office a little bit more than usual because I don't have to shift gears and race across town and do something else. So I'm not sure that's healthy either. So I'm adjusting to that lifestyle. Man, I could just stay at work all the time, and that isn't healthy either.
No, that's not good at all. It's been fun catching up.
Yeah, good to see you.
That is Michelle Young. We've been talking Furman volleyball on this week's edition of Inside Furman Athletics. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, Alumni Weekend, Friday night, 6 p.m., Saturday night, 6 p.m., Alley Gym. Get your tickets, come out and check out some good, high-quality NCAA volleyball here at Furman. We will see you again next week. Until then, for Michelle and all of us here at Furman, I'm Dan Scott, as always, saying God bless you and so long, everybody.